Hey, what's going on guys, Khraze here, welcome back to another Outriders video. Today let's go over some of the best farming methods that you can probably do right now after the recent nerfs. Now of course the update came, it's kind of wrecked us all a little bit, depends on which class you're playing, but if you were maybe trying to get some really awesome legendaries, or maybe if you were doing some of the old farming methods, maybe some of these were nerfed as a result of the new update. Well, in this video I will show you a few alternatives as well as a few really awesome ways to also get legendaries the fastest outside of the expeditions on the higher challenges, which is obviously going to be even more inaccessible for quite many of you guys. By the way, I'm starting a brand new Outriders giveaway, so for the month of April we're gonna get two of these. One of them I already mentioned previously in partnership with Instant Gaming, so you can go ahead and check out that link down below, but I'm also doing a second one right now, and the only thing you have to do is to be subscribed to the channel and follow me on Twitter, and I'm going to announce the winners right here on this channel at the end of the month. But with that being said and done, let's begin with a first legendary farming method that right now I'm doing outside of the expeditions. Now obviously if you're looking to fully deck out your character into legendaries, then yes, expeditions are going to be your best thing, since they drop often over there the more you increase the challenge. Problem is that until you reach that point, it's going to be quite difficult, and even more so now with the recent updates and the nerfs. So here is the next best thing, and that's going to be following, yes, I know, shocking, the hunts, the wanted posters, and the historian quests, which all will give you one guaranteed legendary upon completing their full track. Now there's a good way in which you can complete these and a bad way, so I'm going to start with the bad way because a lot of people seem to have this misconception. By the way, no, if you complete all 10 of the hunts on the lowest tier possible, like world tier 1, and then switch to 15 when you give in the quest, that is not going to affect your loot quality. You're still going to get only the lowest level possible for those rewards. Reason being is because you have to complete at least one of those 10 expeditions on your highest world tier available. So here is the step-by-step guide that you have to follow in order to get the best possible reward. First of all, yes, you can still complete 9 out of 10 of those expeditions on world tier 1 to make things as fast as possible. 2, on the very last expedition, like the 10 out of 10, switch to your highest world tier available, which in my case would be world tier 15, and complete said expedition on that difficulty. Once you do that and you've completed that on world tier 15 or whatever your max is, go in and give in the quest, and now all of your rewards, all 10 of the epics and the one legendary, will actually scale to the maximum available for you, which is the desired outcome from this entire farm. If you do this, like complete 9 of them on world tier 1 and only the last one on tier 15, it's not going to take you more than like 45 minutes with a decent build that already can stomp high world tiers. So in my case, like 30 to 45 minutes, not just for one hunt, but for all 3 types, including the historians and the wanted level posters as well. Personally, I fully recommend to complete the harder challenges on the world tier 1 and keep the easier ones for the maximum available for you. So for example, in my case, I'm playing all of the hunts and wanted levels on level 1, but then I'm keeping the gate region for the hunts for world tier 15 since it's super easy and super fast, and also the wanted poster in Rift Town, which is again a really easy encounter and fast to complete even on the max possible world tier, but that is just my preferred kind of way. Now from this point on is when you will want to actually jump into expeditions, and expeditions are scaling up a little bit more different compared to your regular content, because if you look at like the challenge tiers right here, they don't really correspond. So for example, the corresponding one for world tier 15 doesn't even exist. It would likely be the challenge tier 8, which would give you eye level 41. So your option right here is to either complete the challenges on the lower tiers and like just go through them, or play through world tier 15, which is much easier, get eye level 42, which would immediately get you ready or almost ready for tier 9 in the expeditions, so that would be eye level 43. But here is the cool stuff. As you kind of unlock unlock all of these challenge tiers, your vendors will also scale up to that. So vendors have a really big advantage over everything else in the game, to the point that they scale up both with your highest world tiers as well as with your challenge tiers. So whichever of these is the highest will show you the highest possible reward for that in the vendors. In this case, my world tier is only 15, so that would be eye level 42, but my challenge tier is around 11, so that means level 46, which means that every single vendor right here, even the ones in the towns and in the lower level zones, will sell something of eye level 46, which I can immediately buy for the scraps that I have available. So the three vendors that are going to be extremely important for this are going to be as follows. First of all, you're going to have Bailey, which is always going to be in your camp, always selling these, and she also has a few other advantages in there that I will talk about in just a little bit. So you might find something like a missing piece of gear of high eye level that you can immediately add to your build to change things up, or maybe a really cool weapon that will immediately make you way more powerful. Of course, these are on a timer between 30 minutes to an hour, so you might want to hunt for these every now and then. The other two are going to be located, as I've said previously, in Trench Town, so both for the armor as well as for the weapons, and they have the advantage that they will also scale up exactly as Bailey does, so that you can get something really awesome right off the bat. But this brings us to the final point, and this is going to be all about how you should manage your resources, your items, your drops, in order to make the most out of this, so that you can funnel all of that into your existing gear to either upgrade it or to afford other pieces of gear that might complete your build. So in the end game, there's going to be three very important resources that you absolutely need to keep an eye out for, because these will literally be the ones that you will use the most. First of all, it's going to be the titanium, which is one of the most important currencies, and then there's going to be the shards, and of course finally the drop pod resources, which are exclusively dropped from finishing expeditions. Everything else, literally like the scrap, leather and iron, can easily be obtained from either scrapping or selling the huge amount of items that you will get in the process anyway, so I would not worry too much about that. So here is the step-by-step process that you will need to follow. First of all, whenever you acquire or see any drops of either epic or green and even like blue quality, make absolutely sure that you grab everything from the ground, no matter what, even if you're not going to use the majority of them. Reason being is that at the highest eye level, you can sell these for an absolutely massive profit at any NPC or vendor, and literally make 1 million, which is the cap of the scrap you can get currently in the game, in like no more than an hour. With that scrap, you can then do a bunch of really interesting things which are going to help you tremendously. First of all, you can start affording those high level epics that many of these NPCs might give you, so that you can transition into the higher challenge tiers to get better loot. So it's going to cost you like a few hundred thousands per piece, but that's literally just one run in the expeditions, getting all the items, selling them, and bam, you have the funds necessary for that. But most important is that titanium, which is still useful at upgrading your eye levels. So if you visit Bailey in your camp, you can actually convert your scrap to titanium, and about 1 million scrap gives you about 3,500 titanium. And by the way, you're going to want to use that past eye level 42 and 43, and not just that, it's going to cost both titanium and drop pod resources from this point on. So your balancing act right here would be to decide between upgrading your piece of gear, like especially weapons are the ones that I recommend upgrading first the most, so that you can deal more damage and clear the content faster, which in turn also means you are getting back these resources way better, and B, visiting Diago again over at your camp, which also uses drop pod resources in this case, but he will also sell legendaries. So he has quite a number of items over there of legendary quality. Now, I don't recommend like splurging on these. There's only like a couple, at least in my case for my trickster, that would be viable for me, which is one of those pump shotguns, but I would keep maybe the weapon in check, because that might be the one that would provide you the most benefits in these expeditions, since yeah, weapon damage and your weapon in general is going to be the one that is going to be doing all that content clearing. Now the final point that I will make is to not discard especially those rares, those blues that you might get, simply because they have a chance to be much better than any epic that you currently have, maybe even equipped on your character. So no matter if you get these from the regular content or from the expeditions, first analyze each individual blue that you get. See if the first 3 stats are exactly the ones that are best in slot for you. Then look at the mod. Is this mod something that you will want on your build anyway? Well, from this point on, all you have to do is to just upgrade that. You will have way more control over your next 3 choices of mods that you will get, and this is still going to give you an option to then change the previous mod, maybe the first one or the second one, so that you have way more control over that. So just to give you a quick example with a weapon that helped me quite a bit, simply because it had the proper mod combinations for me, it was this automatic shotgun, which was previously of blue quality, but because when I upgraded this to epic quality, it got a perpetual mobile as one of the 3 possible choices. This meant that I could easily just replace the first mod, and that would give me the option to have this really awesome mod combination between the bone shrapnel against AoE targets and the perpetual mobile for infinite ammo refresh. So this is the type of combination that can help you even more in the end game, which is why I recommend analyzing even the rares that you are about to get. This is it for now though. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.